This is my city without any ugly industry areas, and for this episode we have exactly one job, and that is to create jobs. Currently our unemployment is at 50%, and just a few in-game days ago it was around 70%. It went down because we built here Empire Gardens, where there are 1,300 of our 4,300 people that are employed. And this is because we now have office areas, which I uploaded 2 days ago, a very short video to show you how you can get office areas in a city without industry. You basically have to build a few buildings of industry, but you can delete them afterwards. And now we have office demand through the roof. I mean, technically every demand through the roof, but first we need to create jobs. And the side benefit is also that it can create off taxes, and I mean a lot of them. If we were to tax them at the normal 10%, we would basically just double our budget. For now, I'm keeping it at 1% because that's still more than we had before, and our budget is positive anyway. The aim is for sure to get it under 10%. Maybe we can even get it under 5%, but I don't know. I don't think anyone ever tried this before, so we will see. Now I'm going to start the timer and begin by expanding the office area over here in the logical place. Probably first zoning them right here so they get built in. So now when I build streets, the zoning area doesn't get destroyed. We connect it up and then do the same thing that we did on the other side. And I think even like this electricity mast here makes kind of sense in an area like this, because it's just offices, people don't live here, so like a bit of electricity in your backyard doesn't hurt too much. And to track the amount of jobs we have, let's expand this. Then we know exactly how many people work in our offices. In the meantime, while they are building, we have some indicators of hearses and also ambulance. Let's take a look what's the problem here. Our medical clinic seems to be fine. They just dispatched all vehicles, so they are on the move now. And the crematorium should also be fine. It might be, let's take a look where they are, these cars. I was about to say it might be because of traffic jams, but actually doesn't look like it. We have these bridges over the main street. I think the only traffic jams we have are here leaving the city, but they are kind of fine right now because there's not crazy amount of new people moving in because we didn't zone any new residential. And here are a few traffic jams because a lot of people are crossing and a lot of people are living here as well. Maybe we need to fix this at some point. And that might also be where like ambulances are stuck. But I think the problem will solve itself. What we can do is add more ambulances and maybe even some more patient space for this hospital. And it's quite convenient. We can just add these to the backside here. And if we want, we can expand it even further. So that should help the problem. By now, all these buildings here are built, which means we have doubled the job capacity roughly, and unemployment is already down 10% to 40%. We got Big Town right now, which allows high density housing, but that's probably for a future episode. Before getting more people, let's focus more on jobs. And if we take a look at them, they require highly and well-educated personnel, which at some point could be a problem because we don't have really big schools. We can add an extension wing to the high school, but that is probably all we can do. Get in a few more people, and soon we will need another elementary school just so people are educated enough to do the office jobs, but I think we will manage. Now let's continue with office jobs in this area where there's also the transformer. I think it fits well, and maybe not destroy the grid layouts on each side by connecting them up like this. I think that looks fine. And now we just zone more. I'm zoning without these last few pieces at this road, so they're all oriented in the same direction, and it gives a bit more space. At some point there could be trees or something else. Then we get in the alley, fix the zoning. We don't want any zoning on this curved road. It will probably look quite bad. Just do that temporary. And what we just did created a lot of traffic problems, but let's just call that a future problem to solve, because right now we want to create jobs and nothing else. Get more buildings zoned, and we just got a special building which gives university education, a lot of other things. That is convenient, so for sure we're going to place it down and also fill in this office space. With that, we have a bit of space here in the middle that we can use for paths. I mean, decoration isn't the main thing we're doing right now, but also it doesn't hurt. So there's another pedestrian connection. And since we added just a few trees, some bushes, some pine trees for texture, and this area already looks way better. And there's a lot of people. They're all desperate to work in their job. And it's great that they finally have a job. Let's see how many jobs there are now. Get this zoning right. And if you have any ideas how to name this office park, let me know. Then you can rename this Empire Gardens thing. And these are now 3,500 jobs. If you remember at the beginning of the episode, we had, I think, 4,000. So we filled all of them, but in the meantime, new people moved into the city. Now our unemployment rate is down to 36%, and we still have a lot of demand for everything. So it's looking great. Let's fill up this last bit of the area here at another crossroad. Just to here, it's now a very tight grid, but that makes it pedestrian friendly. And we're running out of water. That's an easy problem to fix. Just throw in another water tower. This time a big one, our first big water tower. That solved the issue. We're going to offer a bit more commercial just in this area. So I'm fixing the zoning because people live here, so they also want shopping opportunities, which they can get here. And then this part is going to continue to be offices, and we can continue this park style that we started, which then I think will turn out to be quite a beautiful area. Get in another path here. Problem right now is the pedestrians cannot cross, but we can allow for that. So now they can cross to the other side. I hope this won't destroy the entire traffic flow, and just rinse and repeat with the trees. This gives us a nice center for the office area for sure. And crazy thing is we still have demand for everything filled up to the peak. Great. So with that, we have about 4,000 jobs here in just this area of town, and our entire city has 6,000 to 7,000 jobs, meaning almost everyone works here. These two things here and probably this side, I mean, for one, I will keep space if we ever want to rebuild the highway exit, which I'm not exactly sure how to do yet. And otherwise, it will become like a city park, a great entrance to the city. So we need to expand our offices to somewhere else, maybe here in the back or on this side. But we can also see the healthcare issues are fixed without doing anything, or like with just adding these parts to the clinic. All the vehicles are dispatched. That solved our healthcare issues. I just decided that the next office area will be up here where there is all the low density housing, and I have an interesting idea for it. There will be somewhat a city park in the middle here, one street going through, a second one at the side, and this one-way street will be just continued through. So this part will be park area. Let's just designate it by planting some trees along this entire length so people can enjoy it. Probably even this bit on the side. And then the new office area is created right here. We can't really go further because of the topography. Maybe at some point we can settle this top over here, but that would be for another episode. And then this will be almost like a triangle, resulting in our zonable area. And since this is already more low density, I'm going to keep many of these like nature elements, with all the area that's not going to be zoned being kind of like a park area. So we are going to keep this style of pedestrian path on the side, like we have in the other office area, because I think it looks really, really good. And it also makes sense to have it that way, just like that. It allows us to have offices in that area. If you're wondering why we are not taking this one, it's close to the park and the residential area, so it makes sense to have commercial so people can shop here. And in between, again, we can at a later point add paths and some trees. Now zoning this here is a bit more difficult. Maybe something like this. I tried that these two streets are somewhat parallel. Here the pedestrian connections are really, really important. So let's get those in. Probably have commercial in the middle. And then we do the same zoning strategy with some possibilities of park areas, getting in offices here and here. It's kind of slowly tapering out the city towards the mountains because the density can't really continue in that way. And then we have office zoned in these places as well. So this is the second office area we have in the city. Give it a district as well, so we can see how many people work here. If you have a suggestion, leave it in the comments. I would love to name it something that you suggested, and then I will change that next episode. Let's speed it up and get these offices built. In the meantime, I will do some decorating. The area has now developed, and I created some paths around here with a lot of big trees, creating kind of a seamless integration to the untouched nature behind this mountain. This area now offers 2,000 jobs, and most of the jobs that are not filled are of people that are educated. So we need more educated people. The other industry area has 4,000 jobs, so this is half the size in terms of jobs, bringing our total unemployment down to 24%, which is already a really big step towards where we want to be. And for some reason our taxation is broken because these offices are not paying taxes, which I don't understand because they're working at a somewhat high efficiency. They are missing some things, but they should be paying taxes. Okay, so it just took a while. It just fixed, which means that now we're making a lot of money, which is great. And the good thing is traffic in this new area is quite well. The traffic down here is fine as well, but not too crazy good. And of course, here at the city entrance, we have some problems. Oh no, there's now a fire in an office building. Actually, it's in a commercial building, and I don't think the city has a fire station yet. We can change that. I'm going to use an urban firehouse because I think it's the most cost-effective one, and it will be right here next to the other services. Next to it is the extension wing of the school. Sadly, it's too late. The building already burned down, but future fires should be avoided with this. Somehow it's weird because I didn't change anything here, but now the taxes are back to 0. Something weird is going on here. I hope it will not result in our city going bankrupt, but I don't think we can do anything about it right now apart from continuing. We are still a bit away from our goal of 10% unemployment, but we are really running out of space. So there's only really 2 areas left. One down here where there is the trash collection, and one up here, this like thin sliver, maybe on 2 levels. Let's hope that it is sufficient. First start with this bottom area. This can be filled pretty much 100%. No point in having it beautiful since, well, this is the surrounding. Put in some paths so the zoning is easier. And then we will do the same thing as on this side, just with offices. So offices here, offices on the bottom. And then once they are zoned in, the alley will cut right through, so we're not destroying the zone areas. It's really dark here because of like this massive cloud. It kind of annoys me, but I mean, at least the clouds are beautiful. Then we get rid of these paths and put in the alleyway. Get in the zoning. And this means we have another office area just here at the bottom, and possibly even to make it symmetrical with the other side, we could add some more commercials right along here. Then it matches the other side. Now it's suddenly bright again and all the clouds are gone. And these buildings have all settled in. We got another special building. It's a commercial one, which looks almost like a house. So we could fit it in somewhere here in the park because it is a soda bar and people could really enjoy that. It will go right here. And I think at some point it will also create some jobs. Now this here is the last area we can really zone for now, before expanding somewhere else. We're down to 24% unemployment. I'm not sure if it will be sufficient to bring it down to 10%, but we will try and we will certainly find out. First, I'm going to get in some offices right along the street and get these buildings built up so the zoning doesn't get destroyed once I pull out the other street. And we just got another signature building that we will for sure also build, because they give citywide perks, and this one gives efficiency and like university interest and graduation rates, and they usually look quite nice as well. Now these offices are being built. We can expand the one-way street all the way until here. This is basically the one-way street that comes from the highway, so you can exit the highway, cruise along here without really any intersections, and be thrown down on this street. Some issues we might need to fix is that now this cannot be a one-way street because people need to be able to go here, because I'm going to zone on the street. going to do the zoning first, because then there will be a road going right along here, hugging the mountain, and otherwise the entire zoning will be kind of destroyed. So I'm going to get in a bit of commercial and then more and more offices. Now we need this street to hug the mountain like this, and we can now only zone on the inside, otherwise it would go into the hills, which does not look nice. So these are going to be kind of isolated buildings, just like that. And we're also going to get a new district in, so we can see who is here and how many jobs we are creating. This could also offer a connection up to there, offering a few more opportunities, and trees are always good, just like that. We have now also with the offices a lot more nature area, and I really like how these turned out. Of course, this middle thing park still needs to be built, and this one also looks really, really nice. I love it. Whoa, I just realized that these medium density housings are all level 5, which is crazy because, I mean, they had no job until a while ago, and this city is really thriving even without industry. So far it works really, really well. Now the offices we put are not really upgrading yet too much, but they don't have any parks, they don't have parking, they're still missing a lot of things. In total, we brought down unemployment to 22%, which is not what the goal was, but we ran out of space. So the episode is over. We will expand in the next episode and still try to bring it down. But now we have 10,000 jobs, and before we had, I think, 2 or 4,000. And we still have infinite demand for everything, which is great. We created some nice green areas. For one this year, this looks really nice. We have the side to the mountains kind of closed up with a lot of green, a park that we will build here very soon, and my favorite area right now in the city, some commercial, some offices close to the low density housing, and also we built this small area down here at the garbage sites. So this for sure works. You can build a thriving city without industry. Just to show more, we are making 900,000 now, which this is how the budget looks like. That means the struggle of money is far behind us, and as a city we can build whatever we need. And what we need right now is expansion. So in the next episode we have no other choice but to expand. I'm not sure yet if we should disband to the left, to the right, maybe to the mountains. All this might create new traffic problems here at the entry. We could even expand further down here. Let me know what you think, what I should do. Thank you for watching and happy gaming.